So at one point, Murder Inc. gets dragged into a money laundering Fed case.
Right.
But there's some stuff in this case that wasn't really covered a lot, and that was a gambling operation.
Right.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so this agent, Fran Mace, brand new, right out of the academy, gets this case dumped in his lap. And I felt bad for him. So, but I didn't want to have anything to do with it because it's money. And, I failed algebra and everything else in high school. So that's what the IRS is for. And at one point, we're looking at these two-way pager records that we have. And definitely Chris, I think Irv as well, but are communicating with a guy named Brett Stay, who's a bookie out in LA, but he's the kind of bookie that, has the orthodontist at the golf course. He meets him and, hey, you want to bet on the Dallas game, guy? He's more of a bookie to the stars, the elitist kind of people in communities that you don't find a bookie on the corner, let's just say. And somehow or another, he says that they amassed of debt close to $900,000. And one way to work off the debt was that Chris had members of the entourage going to places of, high-end, enclaves in New Jersey where multimillionaires live, knocking on the door, having guys like BJ Bryant, I don't know if you know who BJ are, go and collect money from guys. So you can imagine you're from some stuffy white bread neighborhood in Jersey, and guys pull up in an Escalade, and it's BJ Bryant gets out knocking on the door. You want to pay these guys off as soon as possible. You don't want your neighbors know what's going on. And so apparently they were recouping money for this bookie because they were indebted to him. And he alleges that the Gotti brothers were betting the over and under on basketball games, which is not the greatest bet in the world to make because it's not, the odds are, it's, I don't know what they pay out, but it can't be that much. But apparently they had asked NBA players like Cuttino Mobley, Kobe Bryant to hit as many points as they could to hit the over. And
why would Kobe Bryant be involved?
Well, I'll get to that.
Point shaving or whatever.
Well, it's not point shaving because you're not holding back, let's just say. Yeah. You're not deliberately losing a game so that people will win money. You're doing better for your team. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but it's Kobe Bryant. He's like,
all right, but hold
on. He's been the number one guy in the NBA for quite a while.
He alleges that if you pull the tapes, you will see the games where that they're there, the Gottis, and that when they hit the points, at one point, I think it was Cuttino Mobley or something, jumps in the stands and they hug each other or something like that.
Okay.
When they hit the over. Again, this is the allegation made by a guy who's cooperating with us. Like he's saying, yes, I took their bets. Yes, they collected money for me. And by the way, they've been braggadocious about being able to do this. And so anyway, the IRS agent told the U.S. attorney's office, oh, this is great. We finally have interstate commerce, collecting debts, this and that, wire transfers. This is definitely a solid charge. And they said, no, we don't want to charge it because it looks like we're targeting the black community. We have, people in the music industry. Now we're going to get involved sports. We're not doing it. And so they end up, losing the case. So years later, I'm retired. I'm at the Beverly Hills Hotel working the security detail for the Saudi royal family. And I'm with a girl named Susan Nelson, who used to be a Compton deputy, and she's got the contract. It's her gig. And so we're in the lobby. I go outside, having a cigarette or something. Who comes walking out but Chris Gotti? So I go, Chris, what's up, man? So he was like, hey, how you doing? So we bullshitted for a second, like, I'm okay. We have nothing to talk about, All right, hey, good luck to you, whatever. And he gets into a car and he leaves. Oh, no, he's waiting for a car. So I go into Susan. I go, who I just saw outside? A guy I arrested, this guy, Chris Gotti. She goes, Chris Gotti's outside? where is he? And she goes, do you mind if I go talk to him? I go, well, I don't give a shit. So she runs outside and talks to Chris. So she comes back in. She goes, I used to bodyguard Kobe, and Chris used to throw these elaborate like poker games that Kobe used to play. And I used to escort Kobe back and forth from the games that Chris would throw. So that's why I believe there could be some truth to it. And if you want, call Susan Nelson on the phone.
I mean, I know Chris Gotti. I don't know if he's going to admit to it, you know. I mean, it's past the statute of limitations. I guess he could technically.
You know, look, this is something that this gentleman told. Here you are. You're running a bookie operation, right? And I come to you and I say, hey, you're running a bookie operation. I want to know about your clients. All right, whatever. I don't want any trouble. Yeah, I took bets from them. Yeah, whatever. And by the way, this is what they said the guys did. Why would you brag about something like that?
Yeah, but Kobe Bryant was one of the richest players in the NBA already. Why would he risk his career and his legacy over anything related to betting over sports? You've seen it happen to Pete Rose.
Maybe he was a big Ja Rule fan. You don't know.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. To the point where he throw his career away?
Listen,
Kobe Bryant?
Stranger things have happened.
That's pretty strange.
But listen, doesn't it make sense, though? And I'm not saying it's true or it's not true. I'm just saying what somebody said.
Okay.
And I'm following up with the fact that I was working this gig with the Saudi royal family, and the person I was working for, former Compton, former Kobe, she ran a security detail. And she says, oh, yeah, the way I met these guys was through Kobe going to these big high-stakes poker games.
I mean, did Kobe play poker? Sure. I totally believe that. Was he somehow involved in betting on his own games? That seems unbelievably far-fetched.
Well, you know what? If you...
This is not a bench warmer we're talking about who's barely scraping by.
Well, if you're going to ask Chris Gotti, ask him before the show airs. Don't wait till it's over.
No, I'm gonna call him up after this. I talked to Chris Gotti the other day, actually. Me and him have always had a good relationship.
Yeah, I heard his brother is sick. Irv
he had a stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's recovering. But Murder Inc., at the end of the day, ends up beating their Fed case.
Yes.
Were you surprised?
No. I didn't second seat that trial because it was the IRS's case, but what I listened to, I didn't like. They had two of the best attorneys you could possibly get. And they really tore apart witnesses. I had to testify at that trial, and it was, I had to read in, I think I was reading in the two-way pager records or something. I forget what it was. But yeah, they had Jerry Shargell and Jerry Leftcourt, two of the best attorneys you could possibly get for a case like that. And they beat the trial fair and square. The IRS agent felt it was weak, and he wanted to add in other, these other charges. He would have been more comfortable that way, and it would have exposed a different side to maybe the Gottis in it. Whether people believe the bookie or not, or would have believed him. Also, the bookie called and said that lawyers approached him and said, if the government comes to you, say you have an attorney and don't say a word. So, whatever. But anyway, it's their association with Supreme, all the nonsense that they got involved in with 50 Cent, these beefs, being, trying to ruin 50's career, making, threatening people that if you sign them, we're not friends anymore, all this nonsense. I think they destroyed themselves with it. They were on top. And I don't know what they have left now, but, it's kind of, I was just out in Vegas and I saw Ja Rule was playing Vegas, but with like 5 or 6 other performers, in some theater there. So it's, you went from arenas to whatever. I mean, that can happen in careers, but I think Ja Rule probably had another album or two of really worthy stuff if they had stayed the course, you know? So